Welcome to another episode of Chat Sports Talk. You know, my name's Chad. Take a dive into sports. And welcome to my return of my Greatest Athletes series. The Major League Baseball recently just had the All-Star game. Now it's time to really talk about the baseball greats. When baseball was the king sport in America, we think of America as always baseball and apple pie. That's what you think of, especially during the summer. And this is kind of correlate some of my personal favorites, my top 50, which of course won't please everyone. There's a few modern day players in here as well, but before I dive into all of that nonsense, if you could go ahead, smash that thumbs up for me, especially like the content provides you. Really please YouTube guys help promote this channel out. You also subscribe. A lot of you guys will review my work, and I love you all for doing that. Now, me, if you subscribe, does cost you a dime, helps me provide more entertainment value for you. So the first video of this baseball series is going to concentrate on the pitchers, both the starters and the closers. These are two most important positions of the game, because the starter will normally determine the pace of the game and how well your defense is when the closer just is there to shut the door. And they're very important pieces, and you'll see some of these players on here that have numerous awards to their name and accolades. And trust me, there were so many players on this list that I really wanted to look at and put on there. And baseball has quite a few of them in the Hall of Fame. Not everyone made the list. You'll see a sprinkling of modern day players in here, pre-World Series players, and it's just throughout the decades there's always been a handful of pitchers that have dominated the league and the sport as a whole, that that culminates into everything, with the advent of Cy Young, Walter Johnson, Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson. I mean, just name a few of the pitchers that you'll see on this list that have been the focal point of some of the greatest pitchers talks of all time. I mean, Nolan Ryan up there, he has the most strikeouts of any major leaguer ever. I mean, just take that into account. And then with Cy Young, he has the most wins. I mean, those are the two players you kind of strive to emulate. And Walter Johnson's a great balance between those two. And so, you have all those aspects go in there. Now, with this list, with these lists coming out for this series, any player that was tested positive twice for PEDs or eliminated. Any player that admitted to take in PEDs were eliminated. Any player that's going to be banned from baseball for any other activities will also be removed from this list, which means you will not see Pete Rose on here. You will not see A-Rod. But players like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens you're going to see, because they were never tested positive nor admitted to any wrongdoing. In this particular pitching one, you will definitely see Roger Clemens. He never tested positive and never admitted any wrongdoing, even though his name was implemented during that whole Balco investigation. But you're innocent until proven guilty, and that's why Roger Clemens will be on this upcoming list. If you see my other ones for the NFL, in terms of how I do this, there will be little presentation that I'll show up the players and with a lot of their key stats. Some things you got to look into, that I have 39 Hall of Famers in my top 50 pitchers, and with those 39 Hall of Famers, 60 of them have World Series titles. 8 of them were MVPs of said World Series, 58 Cy Young Award winners, 67 Gold Glovers, 7 Silver Sluggers, which you don't really see that a lot with pitchers too much, 9 league MVPs, 292 All-Star selections, and then the most recent adaptation, you have 4 all Major League Baseball And then you had a handful of all Major League Baseball century team with 8 selections, excuse me, 8 selections for that prestigious little block. It included in this one, I've also included my top 25 closers. Since the closers, it's more of a more recent adaptation into baseball. So the list, the pool of players is not as much because the closing pitcher is more of a recent development to really help preserve current pitchers. Because if you look at the way baseball participated, once you started the game, you played it to the end. I mean, there was no switching out pitchers unless you were really, really bad or you got injured. That's just how baseball did back in the day. So that's why a lot of those early, excuse me, a lot of those earlier pitchers have so many wins. It's because they pitched like every other day. Now modern day pitchers is like they're in a 5-day rotation. So when the closers really came out with the advent of Hoyt Wilhelm, which is like the modern day grandfather of the closers, you start seeing the closing pitchers really kind of developed in the late 60s, 70s. That's when you really start seeing them really kind of blossom. And a lot of times there were starting pitchers that got converted into relievers, and they had stellar careers. And some of them, they just came into the major league as a closer. And then you'll see, probably the greatest closer of all time, no question about it, is Mariano Rivera. With his over 600 saves, over 652 saves to be exact, surpassing Trevor Hoffman, who also has over 600 saves. His dynamic 1-2 punch. We don't seem to get a lot of love for the Hall of Fame. Only 7 have been inducted into that prestigious institution. 25 of them have World Series titles. 2 of them won the World Series MVP. 3 of them won Cy Youngs. Yes. There was a few closers that actually won the Cy Young Award, which is unheard of for closers. And also had 2 league MVPs. Now, there's also been 3 different end-of-the-year awards for the relievers. And for them, there's a total of 42 different award selections to include the Relief Man Award, the Delivery Man of the Year, and then the current version of Reliever of the Year. 2 of them's made the all Major League Baseball, all MLB. So if you look at all this aspect, this is what this all constitutes. So with that being said, let me go ahead and just give you these presentation of the top 50 starters and top 25 relief pitchers, and I'll see you on the other side. Well, I hope you enjoyed that stroll down memory lane for some of you guys. Unlike my previous videos for the NFL, I didn't put it by when they started playing. This is actually kind of a ranking system I kind of did with them. So that's why I kind of sprinkled throughout. Some may be higher than others in terms of where people have them. But I think overall, I think about 40 of those pitchers, no one's going to really complain about being in a top 50 countdown. Now, with any list, there's cutting room floor additions. There's players that were good to be considered, but not quite good enough to be a top 50. Still very quality pitchers in their own right. And this one's no exception. Now I have 25 starters that are part of my cutting room floor. That'll include 13 Hall of Famers. That'll leave 28 Hall of Famers not selected for my the top 75. Because how many Hall of Famers or pitchers are in the Hall of Fame. So put it in there. With this cutting room floor, you had 43 world champions. 2 of them actually won World Series MVP, 15 Cy Young Awards, 24 Gold Glovers, 2 Silver Sluggers, 7 league MVPs, 106 All-Star selections. And then for the closers, only added 5 additional ones. There's not much really to kind of go off of these guys. All these guys are also in the 300 save club as well. So, they still have a lot of saves underneath their belt. And for them, they only have 3 award winners. 3 of them were all Relief Man of the Year. And then 10 All-Star selections on top of that. For closers, there weren't that many, like I said, in the Hall of Fame, so their numbers are minute compared to a lot of the other positions. But once again, got a little slideshow for those 30 players, and I'll see you when you get back. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed my cutting room floor, my honorable mentions, how you want to label these guys. They're still very good pitchers in their own right. Probably not, what you consider, the elite, but they're definitely good mid-cards, if you look at it that way. And, yeah, is there a few names here and there that probably could have been added and whatnot? Yeah, there's definitely one closer I wanted to add, but some of the recent court cases he has made it a little uncomfortable adding him to this list. So I won't really mention his name. In terms of starting pitchers, you have starters like Tommy John, which everyone knows because now he has a surgery named after him, which is not a good thing. Doc Gooden, when he was actually a good when he was young, he was an extremely good pitcher. Fortunately, he joined his cousin Darryl in some additional activities that could have affected his career. Andy Pettit, another one's kind of popped in there as a possibility. Adam Wainwright is a good pitcher coming up. That unfortunately, I think his career should be coming towards the end. Bartolo Colon, Tim Hudson, Jack Peavy, Dennis Martinez, Orel Hershiser, David Wells, Tim Wakefield were some of the other pitchers I considered and just didn't. I didn't think they had enough in there to really put them up in that particular limelight, even though a lot of them have a lot of high quality in there. I mean, none of them really had more than one Cy Young Award or one league MVP, so it's kind of lets me keep them outside a little bit. But one of the ones that could probably put in there was Bobby Shantz, who has an eight-time Gold Glover. But some of his stats were kind of minute. Dallas Keuchel, pitcher since 2012, has 5 Gold Gloves, so he has a possibility. But he's only been pitching about 10 years, so we'll see how much longer he lasts. But just tend to last a while depending on their style of pitching, if they don't adapt to come certain pitches when their fastball starts to become more of a slow ball, they can find different ways to kind of get those little trick ones and be able to save that fastball when they need it. But that's neither here nor there. This is just my personal pick. Yeah, I know there's no Shohei Ohtani on here. Great aspect, great hitter. I might put him as a DH because I will have a DH position coming up, so I might put him in there just to give him some recognition. Just let me know down below what you think of these lists. Was there any pitchers that you think should have been included in the 75 I presented for the starters and the 30 for the closers? Was there any other ones you can really think of that really should be on that list that are not counted? So let me know down below. Stay tuned because the next video I'll be doing on this series will be the catchers, the guys behind the plate, the ones that call the plays. They're the field generals for the infield. So we'll see. So y'all like that aspect, and once you leave that comment, you can also hit that thumbs up for me. You can also share this video with friends and family. It helps promote this video out. And once you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification. Let you know next time I post a video. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.